Hey, check this out. See this woman's face? Yeah, that's the face of the daughter of a mayor that just was arrested recently for violating not only probably curfew, but involved in a violent protest. Well, she said she was peacefully protesting. Yeah, but she was witnessed to have thrown objects at the police. So who's telling the truth here? I don't know here. But if that face is any evidence to suggest that she's guilty of sin, there you go. So, subject of today's story is New York Governor Cuomo threatens to displace New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, or Wilhelm, and bring the National Guard in. Says the mayor and NYPD failed last night. They did. If you notice any pictures of it last night, it's pretty insane. This is from this news story here. Cuomo blasts de Blasio, NYPD, for not doing enough to stop looters and protecting the city. You see, New York, state proper, is pretty big, So, essentially, whatever runs through New York City goes for the rest of New York. Now, Governor Andrew Cuomo slammed the NYPD and Wilhelm Tuesday for not doing enough to keep the city safe and the looting under control during the ongoing NYC protests following George Floyd's death. It says, during his daily briefing on June 2nd, Cuomo stated that he felt the mayor, Bill de Blasio, and the NYPD did not do their jobs last night to quell the looting that has taken place during the protest. Quoting from Cuomo, what happened in New York City is, or was, inexcusable. I believe the mayor underestimated the scope of the problem. I believe he underestimates the duration of the problem, and I don't think they used enough police to address the situation last night. Now, one of the hardest areas hit by the COOF, the human malware, the COVID-19, the coronavirus, the Wuhan flu, the Kung flu, was New York City. Interestingly enough, Andrew Cuomo sent people to retirement homes and old folks' homes, etc., with the COVID-19 virus in them, so it infected those institutions, and a lot more people died than they should have. So now he wants to get on board and make sure Bill Wilhelm actually does his job? Okay. On June 1st, thousands of New Yorkers protested. Let's be honest, they were rioting. Maybe there was one or two protesters out there, but the riots ensued eventually through the 5 boroughs with an imposed 11 p.m. curfew. However, by the end of the night, the NYPD reported that over 700 people were arrested for looting in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Manhattan. Again, if you've seen those pictures, pretty insane if I do say so myself. I'm not happy about last night. The police did not do their job last night. But you have 38,000 NYPD officers, said Cuomo. They have protected the city before in these situations. I've seen them do it before, so I know they can do it because I've seen them do it. Okay, Mr. Person from the Department of Redundancy Department. They did not do it last night, that is true, but I believe in the inherent capacity of NYPD. If managed and deployed, that's what I think wasn't or hasn't worked, and that has to be fixed today. Right. You think Bill de Blasio, Wilhelm, will actually go against his Antifa masters, if you will? I seriously doubt that. That being said, Cuomo does not feel that it's time to displace the mayor and bring the National Guard over Wilhelm's head to handle the unrest. I offered the National Guard. The mayor said he can handle it with the NYPD. My option is also displace the mayor and bring in the National Guard as the governor in a state of emergency and basically take over. I don't think we're at that point. I think we are at that point there, Andy. That would be such a chaotic situation in the midst of an already chaotic situation. Dare I say, how worse can it get? I don't think that makes any sense. Cuomo also criticized, of course he's going to, President Trump's recent rhetoric regarding protests, saying the president is turning the situation in a political one. No, Andy, you started that a long, long time ago. So shut your pie hole. Jeez. In a political one rather than actually address the problem at hand. Here we go. The finger pointing, as it is. The president doesn't want to distinguish between the looters and the protesters. I think he did. You chucklehead. He doesn't want to speak out the big killing of Mr. Floyd. He has, and he's condemned it, Andy. He just wants to talk about looting. That's because that's what everyone is mostly doing at night. You chuckle frickin' head. And he does not want to talk about reforming the justice system. Yeah, he has. But again, Andy, you want to make this political, as you saying, well, he's making it political, but you're making it political. You goddamn hypocrite. So he wants to say they're all looters. They are not all looters. That is his political spin on this. No, that is your political spin on it there, Andy. See, again, look where we're at right now. You got essentially people like this chucklehead who, mind you, got married and went to Nicaragua during the Sandinista time, I think, to hang out down there. Why? Because he's a leftist freak. That is why. He was getting training probably to hone his leftist skills. And then, well, this is the end result of it right there. That's leftism in a frickin' nutshell, if you ask me. That is interesting because, well, those crazy eyes just don't appear out of nowhere. That, my friends, is certifiably nuts. But what can I say about all this going on? All the looting, the riots. Because, yes, protesting, A-OK. Peacefully protesting, yes. Breaking into a shoe store and stealing some new kicks, if you will, not good. Not what I suspect that I would even remotely endorse anyone to do. But they're doing it. So what do you expect the president to say? Stop looting. Not everybody's looting and rioting. Well, the majority are. So it's hard to distinguish the difference between a looter and a protester at this point because the news media, you guessed it, is saying no one's looting. Yeah, they are. Everyone's peacefully protesting. There aren't. And it's just amazing that you have a CNN reporter saying, oh, it's mostly peaceful out here, and behind him is a goddamn burning building.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly, but fires have been started.
What do you do in that point where the news media fails to do its frickin' job? Your job is to report the news. If you see something on fire and there's a bunch of people throwing bricks and stuff through windows, they're not protesting. They're looting and causing damage and vandalism to businesses. So what are we supposed to do? Laszlo, you have all the issues, or you have all the answers. Well, I'm not in charge. See, we elect people to do this for us. In the event that they can't do that job, well, the people have to step in. I don't think we're there yet. We're awfully close. What would I do? Sure, I'll say it. Well, in this instance, you send the National Guard in and you stop this crap from happening. Obviously, what else are you going to do? Reason with these people? They're insane. Can you reason with a peaceful protester? Possibly. Can you reason with some guy with a brick about to crush your skull? No, you can't. And that is the issue at this point in time. Is that the United States is collapsing in and on itself. It's not the president's fault. It's not even Andrew Cuomo's fault. Not necessarily Bill de Blasio's fault. Essentially, it starts with policing. It's the police collectively, if you will. It's their issue and their fault. For many years, they violate people's rights. They kill, shoot, maim, destroy unarmed white people, black people, Asian people, Latinos, all types of races and colors and creeds and religions, sexualities, all that. That's what they do. And it just boiled over at this point because we're in a freaking lockdown and a pandemic. Now, it is their fault at this point in time, the leaders, for not stopping it. They've addressed the problem. Yes, we've got a policing issue problem. Got it. Let's stop the burning and looting. Well, how do you do that? Oh, I don't know. Start arresting people. At this point, you got to stop it. If you're bleeding, you got to put a big-ass Band-Aid on there or put pressure on it to stop the bleeding. If you don't put pressure on it, that wound will keep oozing, it'll get infected, etc., etc. Right now, a lot of these Democrat-run cities and states are ignoring the problem. Not the policing problem, but the people burning down businesses and creating this problem, all because of political expediency. In my opinion, the news media, these state leaders and city leaders that are from Democratic-run towns and municipalities are doing this on purpose. Now, is it a conspiracy theory to state that they want to get the president, out of office come November? No, I don't think that's conspiracy. It's conspiracy fact. They want that. So in my opinion, these leaders out there in these Democratic-run cities are letting things get out of hand on purpose to actually affect the election coming in November. Again, that is just a conspiracy theory. It may be conspiracy fact later on.